Hello everyone, this is Lady G at Great Basin Alchemy. Welcome to my channel. And this is going to be a reading for the week of October the 4th, 2020. Just a quick heads up that Mercury retrograde begins next week on the new moon, on the 16th, I believe it is. And so what that means is we are in the pre-retrograde shadow. So pay attention to the things that are coming up for you in your life. What started to come up for you last week, what's coming up for you this week, and next week leading up to Mercury retrograde, because those are the areas that are up for attention during Mercury retrograde. And I think the more warning we can get and have more attention and intention through this Mercury retrograde, the better off we're all going to be. This is an intense year, So any assistance and preparation we can have as we move into an even more intense time, the better off we're going to be. So I would like to do a reading today using these two decks. These two decks are my favorites, partly because they are the first two decks I ever bought, and partly because they provide reassurance, but also suggestions without creating a lot of fear in the process. I started out with these, even though I had bought a couple of tarot decks as well and started learning how to read tarot at the same time. This was, 2009, 2010. At the time, I felt like tarot was really daunting. There were a lot of really negative images, and I needed something encouraging because I was really facing some challenges at the time. And I found these to be very comforting and reassuring, even if it didn't tell me exactly what I wanted to know. And so I was asked to use these tonight with you, and we're going to use them. I love this deck for this dimension, to represent what it is that this dimension we need here in this dimension. And I love the Archangel Michael deck for what support is available to us and is coming to us from the higher dimensions. And so we get a blend of the two, with the elementals, the fairies, the gnomes, the elves, the earth people, and then the higher dimensions with the angelic beings. So I'm going to do 3 cards, one for the first part of the week, one for the middle part of the week, and one for the end of the week. And I'm going to do 2 stacked to help us see what we're facing, or what it is that we need to know. And that's what I ask whenever I do a reading. I always ask, what is it that we need to know? Because we can ask all sorts of questions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Spirit is going to provide the answers, because sometimes it isn't for us to know. Sometimes it's not appropriate for us to know. Oh, I need to sneeze. The smoke is back tonight. But it is getting better. It's slowly getting better. The fires in Northern California are slowly creeping up in their containment numbers, which is always a wonderful, wonderful thing. There's the first part of the week. I feel so bad for some of these firefighters. Just out there day in and day out. Some of them do 24-hour shifts. Some of them do 12-hour shifts. It's rough, man. And they've been in those gas masks for weeks at a time. So hot. Those fires are just, they've gotten so bad and so dangerous in the last 5 years. We now have international support. Well, we had international support from Canada earlier, but we now have firefighters from Samoa. I saw a video tonight of them doing the haka, which was really nice. I loved it when the New Zealand firefighters came and helped us. And they did something similar. They did their version. Letting Mama Gaia, encouraging Mama Gaia to speak up, to be heard, to be noticed. Okay. All right. First part of the week. From the fairies, you've got the power. Use your abilities to resolve the situation. You can do it. We often forget how powerful we really are. Well, we have forgotten how powerful we really are. That's the challenge of this dimension, is to remember who we are, how powerful we are, and what we are capable of doing. And to remember that we are part of spirit, which means we have all of the resources we could ever need to accomplish whatever it is we need. And so, as we awaken more deeply, and for some of us, as we awaken for the first time, we are learning how separated we have been from who we truly are. And so to dive into that, just dive down this rabbit hole. Let's just go for it. Get in there and figure it out. Who are we? And then prayer will help the situation. Now, prayer is a complicated kind of process. So many people think of prayer as being a supplication. But prayer, true prayer, is connection and has results in the sense of us using our power. Because remember, we're in a planet of free will, and none of the beings can do anything unless we ask them to do it. And saying, just help me, isn't always enough. And they're like, what do you mean, help you? And I need more specific information, directions. And so learning how to give directions, such as the protocols that I have taught on this channel, is a more accurate way of praying. Giving specific directions. I need help with this, or show me what I need to know in order to accomplish this goal, or provide an opportunity to increase my resources so that I can be a benefit to this planet, or so I can awaken more easily and more smoothly. There are many, many different ways that we can use the other dimensions in this dimension, and that is really the gift and the power that we have once we wake up to the fact that we are not doomed to live the programmed karmic way of living anymore. We can choose. We can be co-creators with the universe in how our life is and how we experience life. And so consider the different protocols that might come to you. Always start with working with you at the level of your higher self, to work with the energetic fields and the guides to locate whatever it is that you want to shift or change or evolve or update, and then tell it to move, shift, change, evolve, or update to whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Then you want to do the same for your body deva. Then you want to do the same for your team and your body deva's team. Then you want to align all of that together. Then you want to update all reference points, all ways of being, perceiving, and being perceived in this world. That is the basic format for a protocol. You have the power through prayer, through protocols, to change the situation. Now, talking about world events, you also have the power to influence world events through these prayers and protocols. And keep in mind that we do the opposite of that which we intend to master until we have filled up the opposite tank and it overflows into the practice that which we intend to master. And so when we see people in our world, particularly in our political world, who are doing things that are unwise to us, or who are making choices that are harming people, we have to first recognize that they are doing the opposite of what they intend to master. And so, for example, if we're talking about POTUS, he's seeking power. That's what he wants. He wants power. And he thinks that he can get it from other people. He wants to get it through adoration. He wants to get it through attention. He wants to get it through agreement from people. But the bottom line is he wants power. And he doesn't realize yet that his true source of power lies within him. It is not from other people. Which is why he'll go on rampages, and however much power he has is never enough, because he doesn't realize that it never will be enough so long as he tries to achieve it outside of himself. And so we can invite him, we can use the power of our protocols to invite his soul to find the power within. But again, he's not going to be able to flip yet to practicing that which he intends to master until he fills up his tank of opposite. And he's doing a darn good job, man. He's doing a darn good job of filling up that opposite tank as quickly as he can. His soul is determined to learn power for himself. But man, he's got to get through this opposite thing first. And for some reason, we've all agreed to help him learn that. That's how determined he is. He went on the world stage to learn this as quickly as possible. And that's what we're here to do. So we can continue to model it. We can continue to send him information. And when he's ready, when he's filled it up, he will receive all that information and flip. And it will be a majestic thing when it does. Okay, middle of the week. New career. Your work focus is shifting in a positive, new and successful direction. Now this could mean all kinds of things. For some of you, you may have lost your jobs. For some of you, you may have lost your businesses. For some of you, the economy is taking a turn, and maybe your area of expertise is being phased out. There are multiple things that this could mean. The positive aspect of it is there is something new waiting for you. And that was one of the more important lessons that I learned very early on in my spiritual evolution, was that whenever things fall apart, there is always a solution. Because things don't fall apart unless there is a solution already in place. That's just the way things work in the universe. There is always a solution available. And it is within our power to access it. Now, it might take a little bit of work on our part to figure out what it is, but it is always there. There is always a solution. And the more we can trust that, the more we can rest on that and believe in that, the easier the challenges can be from a stress and anxiety perspective. We still have to do the work. We still have to put one foot in front of the other. We still have to chop wood and carry water. But But the solution is there. And if we can find the sense of humor, it always helps things go easier. This is a challenge for me, as I tend to be very serious and take life very seriously. And finding humor in difficult things is not a particular strength of mine. And so that is something that I am practicing. And I always am appreciative of those who have mastered this. And so if you have mastered this, blessings on you, and use your mastery to benefit you, and you can use your mastery to help others too. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift. Laughter really does elevate the consciousness of those around you. It also elevates your consciousness and raises your vibration so that you're not so susceptible to the lower vibrations of fear and anger and frustration, and helps you see things from a different perspective, which is always wonderful, particularly when you're looking for ways to see your power, to remember your power and use it. And in this particular situation, finding your new career, it will be very helpful to use your sense of humor in order to find that, to see it, to see the opportunities. Oh, flower power. This is interesting. Spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing power. And this is your life's purpose. Well, this is interesting. So what this card is saying is look for the more earth-centered solutions. And this is why we are here. We are here to bring Earth back, to assist Earth in coming back into a more balanced state. I don't know that that's going to happen necessarily in our lifetimes. It might take 100 to 200 years to really get into a much more balanced state. It might even take another 2,000 years to get to a more balanced state. But we are here to make the flip towards moving into a more balanced state. And whenever that change happens, there's always a feeling of chaos, even if even if there really isn't chaos underneath. So imagine if you're cleaning out a closet. What's the first thing you do? You pull everything out of the closet. And so if you were, if you walked into the room and you saw the stuff from the closet all over the room, all over the floor, all over the furniture, spread out all over the place, and you didn't know that maybe there was a pile for save, there was a pile for throw out, there was a pile to donate, and there's a maybe pile that, oh, and then there's a pile for this doesn't belong here, it belongs somewhere else in the house. If you didn't know all those piles were there, you would think it was absolute chaos. You would think that the world was ending. You'd be like, what a disaster, what a complete and utter mess. And yet you have to take everything out of the closet in order to clean the closet and maybe make some repairs in the closet and maybe put some organizers in there so that when you put things back, you can find them more easily and they have a better sense of order and structure, and it'll make cleaning easier when you go to clean the house. You know, there's all different kinds of things that you do in the process of cleaning out a closet. But for a while, it's a little bit chaotic. And even though you are putting things into order, it feels chaotic. And that's where we are right now. And so focusing on earth-centered ways of being, perceiving, and living, it feels chaotic because that's not how we've lived. That's not how we grew up. We grew up being focused on materialistic things and making things about us and capitalism, and not really worrying about our effect on the earth, our effect on other people, our effect on other people in other countries, and how we were able to have the things that we wanted. We're very selfish in that way. So moving into a more earth-centered way of being and perceiving and living is going to feel a little bit more restrictive and difficult until we realize that we don't need all the things that we think we need. We can live a much more simple life and still feel very fulfilled. And this is part of why the tiny house movement is really taking off, is that people, first of all, people don't have the money that they used to have in order to buy the kinds of homes that we used to want. Well, we might have the money, but it doesn't have the buying power that it used to have. And people don't have money right now at all and are needing to downsize significantly. And so this concept of coming into a more balanced way of living and being and perceiving is our purpose during this time. We are shifting. We're shifting from a patriarchal, capitalist way of me living to a more feminine, inclusive, communal, earth-centered way of living. And this is why we are here. And it feels chaotic right now, but we've got the power to make this be supportive for us so that we can help Mama Gaia make this shift, because that's why we're here. She wants us to be supportive. The other dimensions want us to be supported. They want us to make this transition so that we can not only benefit our planet, but benefit our galaxy, which is huge. And so as you are looking into opportunities for a new career, keep this in mind, because it might not be what you think it is, or it might be what you think it is, and you think, no, that can't be a career. How can I possibly make any money or support myself in that way? Well, maybe you can't make enough money and support yourself in the way you used to live. But maybe if you make a few changes in the way that you live, you could support yourself in this new way that you're being guided to. You've got the power to do it. Use your protocols to utilize the dimensions in your favor as we move forward this week, and make the shifts that are coming to us so that we can be prepared come January to step into a new way of being, because that's when I'm feeling that a lot of this stuff is going to start taking off, is in January of next year. So with that, I wish you well, and stay calm, stay peaceful, be skeptical of everything. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump into any of the hype that's going on. Just be patient, wait, and look for solutions. And in the process, know that they're always here. Just keep your eyes out for them. Until next week, I wish you well and go in love.